Let's move on now to the Baltimore Ravens training camp preview, where we are going to break down why the top story to watch is obviously how well Odell Beckham Jr. and Lamar Jackson mesh together, and is this a potential number one quarterback, number one receiver duo in the making? Also, on top of that, it's going to be the overall development of the defense as well for Baltimore as we get closer to the 2023 season. Can they develop enough to maintain all the powerful offenses in the AFC, especially within the AFC North? So we're going to break down why those are the top stories here in a second. But before we do that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and also ring the bell to get notified when we create new content. We are doing a training camp preview for all 32 teams, including all the teams in the AFC North. We will also be doing weekly prediction videos throughout the entirety of the regular season. So if you want to see those videos and get notified when the Raven prediction videos come out, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. This is the easiest way to get notified. And Ryan, with that being said, this was obviously outside of Aaron Rodgers and when the trade was going to happen. Where Odell was going was one of the top stories about the entire season. And when he signed with Baltimore, which I'm pretty sure was like a 1 year, like $18 million, something along those lines. This is a one-hit wonder right here, hoping to find lightning in a bottle. And the way Odell plays and the way Lamar plays, I think that they kind of match up well with one another. Odell is very shifty, very quick. I hope that he's fully recovered from the ACL. Also, he's getting a little bit older in age. I hope he didn't lose a step. But with the way Lamar likes to play, which is not obviously pocket football, pocket passing football. And so he likes to get out and open, improvise, create space. I think this absolutely can be something that could be close to lightning in a bottle for this team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think you couple that Odell Beckham with Rashad Bateman, the drafting of Zay Flowers, then also Mark Andrews. I think this is a pretty elite wide receiver group.
Sorry to interrupt. And Ravens fans, comment down below if I'm wrong on this. But is this the best receiving duo in the entirety of Lamar Jackson's career? Even going back to Joe Flacco, I guess, as well. I'm trying to think.
They had some pretty good receivers when Joe Flacco was there.
They had Torrey Smith, I believe.
Yeah, Torrey Smith, and then Steve Smith was there for a brief period.
Yeah, so, that was on the latter half of his career.
Yeah, it was. But anyways,
by far for Lamar the best.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, the biggest thing that's going to derail this season for them is if Odell Beckham Jr. and Rashad Bateman can't stay healthy, because both of those guys have had a pretty lengthy injury history. Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't played football in over almost 17 months, I believe, 17 or 18 months. So it's going to be really interesting kind of seeing him get back out there. There was a bit of an adjustment period when he went to the Rams, right? And then obviously that turned up and he was one of the best receivers in the league again there for a few games. But it's going to be really interesting to see what this wide receiver core is able to do. I'm really interested in Lamar Jackson's passing connection with them because Greg Roman is no longer there, and they have a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. And they've been very vocal that they want to throw the ball more in traditional passing sets. And so how does that look with Lamar Jackson in this in these wide receivers? Because really, Lamar Jackson has never been in anything but a truly balanced offense, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Another thing with Lamar Jackson and them running more traditional passing plays, they did lose Ben Powers and one other offensive lineman, I believe.
I'll check that. Sam Mustipher.
Sam Mustipher.
Yeah. No, sorry. They got Sam Mustipher.
Oh, okay.
I read that backwards. But the other one, go ahead.
Oh, but I was going to say, how does that affect this offensive line? That hasn't been a weak point the last few seasons, but it hasn't been a strength really for them. So I'm really curious to see if that continues to develop. But then the next story for me is this defense. They got rid of a lot of veterans, right? Calais Campbell's not coming back. Marcus Peters is not coming back. And how does that look for this defense? Marcus Peters maybe wasn't the best. I think Calais Campbell is like in his late 30s at this point, but still pretty big role player guys in your locker room. What does it look like with rookies out there, right? And who's the guy really leading the charge and being the voice in the locker room of that defense? And how does it play out? I know they invested pretty heavily into that linebacker position. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith are going to be back there together. And so it's just going to be really interesting to me what this defense looks like.
Yeah.
So
they did also lose Jason Pierre-Paul and then also Justin Houston. But that being said, they're both 34 years old.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I guess, just the question is going to be just the whoever they were rotating with. Can they take on more of that role and provide the same production? And so both of them had several sacks throughout the year. Just being able to rotate these guys in, and so it just seems like it's going to be a newer look. But you're right with this newer offense, especially too if they are able to consistently put up points and like throwing the ball through the air, but also running the ball. So can this defense contain their opponents, especially too then if you just look within their division is just absolutely loaded. The Cincinnati Bengals receiving core, we obviously know. I think the Browns are going to have a much better receiving core. Pittsburgh's going to have a much better receiving core as well. So they're going to have to get after the quarterback, and also then on top of that, be able to defend Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Jamar Chase, all those guys. So that's where I'm curious about, which I feel like is normally out of the ordinary for a Ravens team to have doubts about their defense. So that's where I'm wondering if maybe there's just this transitional period. Who the star players are going to be on the defensive side of the ball, outside of the names that you mentioned, of course. Yeah,
I think Marlon Humphreys is still there, and he's still one of the top corners in the league, and so he'll probably be the star player. But I don't know. I'm really curious. They lost a lot of experienced veterans on that defense. So but let's go ahead and wrap up the Baltimore Ravens training camp preview there. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think of the 2023 Ravens heading into the season. Do you think they're going to be back to winning the 1 seed? Lamar Jackson's going to be an MVP again? Or do you think this transition to a little bit more of a pass-heavy offense with more of the wide receivers isn't going to work out for them? Let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.